You know what's wild? Returnal came out in 2021 and it still feels like something nobody has really matched. Not even really close. A third person bullet hell roguelike that made you feel like a god and a corpse at the same time. It was brutal, brilliant, and honestly a little mean. So when the developers House Marquee announced Saros, I had the same reaction you probably had. Okay, same studio, same DNA, but can they actually do it again? Can they top themselves? I'm gonna be honest with you right now, I didn't think they could and I was dead wrong. So let's get into it. What's good, everybody? Andre here with StayAlpha. If you're new here, welcome in. We do real game reviews on this channel. Today we're talking about Saros, House Marquee's latest, the supernatural successor, or depending on who you ask, the direct evolution of Returnal. And listen, I'm gonna tell you up front, this game is pure excellent, but we need to talk about some things that might make it or break it for certain people, and I'm gonna get into one specific thing later in this video that reviewers are kind of glossing over, so stick with me. So Saros drop you into the boots of Arun Devraj, voiced by Rahul Kohli, and he is fantastic in this role. Arjun is part of the Echelon 4, a team sent to the planet Kokosar to figure out what happened to the 3 expeditions that went before them, and spoiler, none of them came back, not one response, radio silence, nothing. But what Saros does really well, and this is something that Returnal did too, is layer meaning on top of the premise. Arjun isn't just there because of his job, he's there because of a woman named Nisha who was one of the ones who was lost on the mission, and honestly the search for her is driving every single thing that he does. His team is almost an inconvenience to him, and that dynamic creates one of the genuine tension between the characters and the story as it unfolds. The narrative here is told through somewhat of a combination of cutscenes, dialogue with your crew on the base, and audio logs tethered together throughout the biomes. If feed drips in this way that actually respects your intelligence, you piece the things together, and the central mystery of Kokosha, especially what the eclipse is doing to people, keeps me generally hooked. Now, Kokosa has this reoccurring solar eclipse, and that eclipse isn't just a visual thing, it changes the world. Pre-eclipse, you're exploring in normal conditions. Enemies are manageable, pickups are clean, and there's no trade-offs. But at some point in each biome, you're forced to trigger the eclipse yourself, and when that happens, everything shifts. Enemies gets way more aggressive, pathways that were blocks opens up, the loot gets better but more corrupted now. Every benefit comes with a drawback, and the environments themselves physically transform. There's a swamp level where the red pools around you are basically harmless before the eclipse. Under the eclipse, poison, just straight up poison swamps. And that transformation mechanic is applied differently at each biome, so the surprise factor stays longer than you expect. Let's talk about the combat, because this is where Saros really earns its reputation. The core loop is that it's a third-person shooter with the bullet hell mechanic layered on top. Enemies fire patterns of projectiles, blue, yellow, red. Each color works differently. Blue projectiles can be absorbed by your shield, which charges up your power weapon. Yellow ones show up during the eclipse and actually chips your maximum health if they hit you, but you can cleanse that corruption by killing enemies. And the red ones you can't dodge, you cannot shield them. The only option is to parry. Press R1 at the exactly right moment to send them back to whoever fires them. Now, that parry mechanic, I actually have some thoughts on that, but I'll come back to that in a moment. The movement is where Saros really separates itself from Returnal though. Arjun is fast, like immediately fast. The gap between what you want to do and what actually happens on screen is basically zero. Your dash is tight, your jumps are precise, you've got grappling points and jump paths that let you work the vertical space, and there's additional movement tech that you unlock later that I won't spoil, but it adds even more layers. What House Marquee did really well here is enemy variety. You got 2 broad categories: organic enemies that get in your face that try to suffocate you, and mechanical ones that create this battlefield wide open pressure. Together they force you to be thinking about positioning constantly. You're not just standing still in this game ever, and unlike Returnal, the alpha tier enemies, the big scary ones, are actually calibrated properly here. In Returnal, those things felt like a completely different game showed up and uninvited. Here they're tough, but they actually feel like a natural step up rather than a wall. The world design, biomes that actually evolve over and over again, whether you want it to or not. That's how roguelikes usually work, but in Saros changes that relationship. Once you clear a biome and unlock the next one, you can teleport straight to it in future runs. You never have to grind through the first zone again unless you want to. And that is a huge deal because it means going back to earlier biomes is a choice. And because it's a choice, it feels like an exploration rather than a punishment. You can go back because you want to find secret rooms you couldn't reach in the first time. because you unlocked a new transversal ability and there's a whole section that was blocked off. It recontextualizes old spaces rather than just recycles. Grapple, charges attack, jump pads are distributed across the whole game, and each one gives you new reasons to revisit something that you thought you were done with. Really smart design choices. Progression, the skill tree situation. Okay, so this is where I need to slow down because Saros meta progression is both his biggest strength and, depending on who you are, potentially the biggest problem. There's a really massive skill tree. And I mean massive. It's gated by boss skills, so you can't infinitely grind early on, but it's still enormous. You dump currency called Lucenite into it between runs, and those permanently upgrades stack up over time. More health, more damage, better shields, faster charging on your power weapon, incremental but meaningful. For people who bounced off Returnal because of his punishing structure, this is really the answer. You'll make progress, every run moves you forward. You can literally feel yourself getting stronger across sessions, not with just a... But here's the tension though, and this is what I was teasing at the start of the video. If you're a Returnal veteran and if you love that game and a specific challenge that it offered, there are stretches of Saros where you might just feel like you're just coasting. The accessibility offers are plentiful. The custom modifier system lets you add buffs and debuffs to customize your experience, but it's more than an opt-in system than a baked-in difficulty curve. What Returnal demanded was that you got better, your actual skills, your pattern recognition, your muscle memory. Saros at points let you just out-level the problem. Stuck on the boss, go to a previous biodome, collect Lucenite, upgrade the skill tree, and that same boss becomes significantly easier. Not because you got better, but because your numbers went up. For a lot of people, that's a feature, and I do get it. I generally do. Not everyone has time to hammer a boss 40 times until the click starts feeling automatic. But if that earned satisfaction was part of what you loved about Returnal, you should know going in that Saros trades some of that for accessibility. That's not a deal breaker, not even close. It's still a really great game, but that point is real, and the reviews dancing around it aren't doing you any favors. Here's what I keep coming back to though. When everything clicks in Saros, when you're in a fully upgraded run, you got a weapon that you understand. Your weapon is charged every 5 seconds, and you're observing blues, parrying red, grappling across the arena, dashing through the yellow valleys, and the eclipse is dropped and everything is gone red and the soundtrack is just hammering. There are very few games that make you feel like that, and I mean that. The feeling of pure flow state where the instincts take over and you stop thinking and just reacts. Saros gets there, and when it does get there, it's as good as any game in the genre, maybe better. The DualSense implementation alone is something. Adaptive triggers let you feel the halfway point of a press, which is how you engage alternate fire for your weapons. The haptics are firing so constantly that your controller battery would dip faster than most any other game in the system. It sounds like a complaint, but it's actually not. It means the feedback loop is so consistent and tactical that it's real. And the audio overall, Housemarque has always been elite here. It's incredible. The Tempest audio engine means you can literally hear where threats are before you even see them. In the game where everything is flying around you from every direction, that's not a luxury, it's survival. The story sticks to landing too, not perfectly by any means. A few reviewers have noted that the ending feels abrupt if you blast through it in 12 hours, which you can, but the mystery of Kokasta and the character work, Rahul Khalil's performance as Arjun is completely compelling. This isn't background for flavor text, it earns the attention. So where does that leave us? Saros is excellent. It's Returnal refined, expanded, and opened up to more people, and it does that without completely losing what made the original special. If you never played Returnal and got a PS5, this is the one. Just buy it, don't look at anything else, just go in and have fun. If you're a Returnal diehard, you're going to love this, but you're going to want to dial up the challenge from the jump. Don't rely on the skill tree to carry you. Make yourself earn it in the hard way. The game is capable of that, you just have to choose it. And if you bounced off Returnal because it was too brutal and unforgiving, too rigid, this will be your game. Housemarque made this for you this time, and it's still very good. Saros is a must play in 2026, full stop. I'm Andre the Alpha here on YouTube and Twitch, and if you got something out of this, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay Alpha.